What episode is this? No, keep going. Keep going.
Sure?
Yeah.
This is 19, I think.
Yeah, episode 19. Welcome to Just the Casuals Inside episode 19. Best podcast in Lansing, scratch that. Best podcast in Illinois, scratch that. Best podcast in the region, scratch that. Best podcast in the world. I'm Jelani Smith, 20 years old. I'm a communications major out of South Suburban College.
I'm Dakota Mitchell. I'm still cooking.
And today, we got a big guest on the show today.
Special guest.
Special, big special.
Lansing's resident badass.
Uriel, the big brodie. Big brodie. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, which is like everybody that's ever listened to the podcast before, we've never had Uriel on the show before.
We never had a guest that made that the recording actually finished, for that matter.
Damn. That is right too. You would be okay. So if this one gets completed, which I'm like hell bent on.
I mean, we got two. Let's record on two phones now, so it should be fine.
We should be good. But we had two guests on the show. Yeah, two.
Yeah, we had BJ and Frank.
Yes, had a full 2-hour conversation with him.
I was about to say, what
2-hour conversation. We talked about MMA with BJ. With Frank, we talked about college, and then they
perished. My phone fucked up. I don't know. I had a problem with uploading it. I don't know what happened.
We gotta have Frank back on in spring sometime.
Yeah, because we had a whole conversation. We ran through everything. Like, we ran through every fucking thing you can run through. So, you are our first official guest on the show. We're not gonna fuck this one.
We're the first official guest.
We're not gonna fuck this one up. And I've been knowing you since, I want to say, because I started going to Coolidge 4th grade.
Yeah.
So around there, knowing you through middle school and then high school, and I had a few classes with you too, and those are always fun. I
think I've known Uriel since kindergarten, way back. I mean, it doesn't get any earlier than that besides preschool. So.
Nah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that one.
I went to preschool out in Chicago. So, I know Dakota. Probably one of the oldest people I know.
Him, Eric. I think Eric signed up since kindergarten or first grade, one of two. So
yeah.
That's that part I really didn't know until like a few minutes before this show that you guys had known.
Hey,
I did
only
not know
people I've known a long time, but I didn't know you that long. You can move on.
Did not know that, bro. I remember all the time in class when we was remember Mrs. Praise's class in English?
Yeah.
And we used to talk about the Giants and shit like that. We used to talk about everything in there. Those used to be. Are you still a Giants fan? Always still a Giants fan. Always.
Might be some tough times since the last time, but
Because I'm not gonna lie, man. Like, my two favorite players in the NFL are Saquon Barkley and actually Odell Beckham Jr. So it's like crazy now that Odell's on the Cleveland Browns.
I think he will come home eventually.
That's what I'm thinking too, and I'm hoping.
I'm hoping,
man. I'm hoping for that.
Maybe.
But anyway, we don't have a football topic for today, but we do have two of course, you guys already know, biggest topics always on the show are always the NBA stuff. And we're going to run through the NBA with Uriel today because Uriel does have quite a bit of knowledge on basketball in the NBA. Yeah. So we're going to run through about as much as we possibly can with him. Just squeeze the juice out of the orange with that one. And we're going to talk about the big fight of boxing coming up actually tonight. Matter of fact, I don't know what time it starts exactly.
I think the actual fight's at like 7.
The main event, the big fight probably won't go off until like around 10 o'clock tonight.
Yeah, that's what usually is for main events and pay-per-views and stuff. Even for UFC, it's the same way.
I'm gonna be playing 2K, but best of luck to both of them.
I'm not gonna lie, bro.
I got ESPN Plus.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, best of luck to both of them,
but we're gonna be talking about Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 2. First fight ended up being a draw, which I was not expecting at all. When I was checking the highlights of that, I really thought that they were going to give that one to Deontay Wilder just for the 2 knockdowns. I had thought for the 2 knockdowns.
The 2 knockdowns? Okay,
that's what I thought.
You could give him the two rounds that he got, the 9th and the 12th round with the knockdown. Arguably, you could give Fury the 12th round for how he got back up
and was able to finish it.
And he pushed the action.
Yeah. But he can knock me in the ass and still keep pushing.
It was one of the more entertaining fights that I've seen in terms of boxing. I haven't seen a lot of them, but
I was mad because it was a draw and I had quite a bit of money
on
that fight. and Fury outboxed him. I would give Wilder maybe one of those first 5 rounds, maybe the 3rd or the 4th I was watching. One of those rounds.
We're gonna get deep into that one though. We're gonna get deep into that.
Yeah.
And we're gonna talk about we're gonna talk about where we're gonna give predictions on this second fight because it's really gonna be a very, very interesting fight. One of the more interesting fights that you've seen in the heavyweight division in a little bit of time. And the NBA stuff. Stay tuned. Just the Casuals inside. We got a big guest, Uriel, Jelani Smith, Dakota Mitchell as usual. Stay tuned.
All All right, we are back on Just a Casual's Insight with Jelani Smith, Dakota Mitchell, and Uriel Lopez, the man, the myth, the legend. We're ready to talk about some NBA. So, Uriel, who are your top 10 players of all time? I think it's important that every NBA fan have a top 10.
Top 10?
Top 5. We'll start with top 5.
Top 5? Well, you know...
It don't got to be in order either if you don't want to.
And then it doesn't necessarily have to be who you think is the best, but just who your favorite is.
Well, top 5, you have to have Kobe in that.
Yeah, Kobe for sure.
Mike, LeBron. I don't know. I might put Bird up there, maybe top 5.
I mess with Bird. Bird's in my top.
And just being a Mavericks fan, I might try to.
Only Mavericks fan I ever met.
I might try to squeeze Dirk up there somehow, some way.
Top 5.
I think Magic Johnson said that his 2011 performance in the finals was the best performance he's seen since Michael Jordan. So
it's one of the greatest final performances ever.
I think it was 26 points, almost 10, 11 rebounds.
He was up there for sure. I mean,
big shots.
Hey, I don't think Mike was the only one with that flu game. Yeah, he had a little flu.
He was taking Miami. He was making fun of him.
They were making fun of him, and the German Jesus came out and.
Okay, are there any players right now that are really fun to watch for you, or that you like?
Man, over the last couple of years, since we drafted him, Luka.
Hey,
Luka
can't go wrong with that
Luka
one.
Magic.
Can't go wrong with that one.
You
can't go wrong with that one.
He's currently not my favorite player in the league.
Ooh.
But, since LeBron, came back to the Cavs back in the day, started messing with LeBron a little bit.
Okay.
All right, the king.
Now LeBron.
He's the king.
Now LeBron, he's. I consider him the best player in the world.
He has a strong case for it. Him, Kareem, Jordan. I think we could say have the strongest cases for.
Yeah.
I think there's been a big shift. Like ever since LeBron went back to Cleveland, there's been a big shift because a lot of people when he first went to Miami, everybody's like, man, fuck him. There was the burning of the jerseys and all that. When he went back to Cleveland and they won that championship, everybody got back on with LeBron, and now he's like, to me, he's still hated, of course. People still, LeBron's got all his haters, but I feel like there's been a big shift in like. We love LeBron. Like
I feel like he wouldn't have as many haters if he didn't he wasn't on record saying like I did it. I like after that last championship in Cleveland.
I'm the best
player in the world. Yeah, when he said he was the GOAT.
Oh, which one you talking about? The one in Cleveland?
Yeah, when he won the one in Cleveland, and then afterward he on his show he was like, I did everything.
Oh yeah, I'm the GOAT. Well, I personally didn't like that. I don't know how many people actually watched that, but like, what do you think about a player like proclaiming themselves as being the greatest of all time? While they're still in their career.
I could understand why people dislike it, but how I feel about it, if you feel like you're the best at something or you're the greatest at something, express it. Everybody's gonna have a different opinion on something.
Yeah.
But like I was saying to a couple coworkers a couple weeks ago, the next 15 years there's gonna be another person that could be better than. Could be close to Zion in the next 10 years.
Zion. Giannis
out in like the next couple years. People.
Guys like that.
Some people have Giannis as the top player in the league right now.
He's up there.
Giannis is. It's so hard for I can't see why anybody would hate Giannis. Giannis is just a fun dude. Like
at the moment.
Yeah.
Wait till he does something that people don't like. Then all of a sudden it's gonna be back to.
Wait till he's in that the Kevin Durant's position.
Yeah. I mean, it's just.
And it's
He came up from like some thin dude in Milwaukee who used to run the break nice and could do Euro dunks, and now look at him completely dominating the league.
Because that's all success.
He's on course for an MVP right now.
Oh yeah, he's probably my favorite. To be honest with you, like I feel like he's the number. I feel like personally,
as far as
I can't even lie.
Look, number one right now.
Look, man, here's
LeBron, and then
first off, as much as I love LeBron, I don't have him at number 2. But Giannis, I can understand if they put him at number 1 because he is dominating on a level that you haven't seen in the regular season in probably since Curry in 2016. Sometime around there, and then Russell Westbrook in 2017.
He's averaging like 30.
It's like 30, 13.
He's averaging Shaq numbers.
But the thing about it is, he's only playing like 32 minutes a night. Most guys, they're playing like 37, 36 minutes a night. He's playing a little bit less and still getting them numbers. So if he was playing the full like 37, 38 minutes, who knows, man? 35, 15, and like, who knows what the fuck he would put up.
Not to mention, he played like when he came up against the Lakers, he played amazing.
That was all the big matchups he gets up for. Like he's ready for that type of stuff, and that's the type of player that type player you gotta admire, somebody that wants to get up and be ready for everybody. But as far as while we're on the subject, wait, did you finish? Is there other like So top 10 players of all time.
Top
Do you
10
have
players.
you have another 5 for us? You can give?
Another 5. I put Magic in there.
Magic
is
Mm-hmm.
You got Magic. You got obviously Kareem.
Mm-hmm.
Kareem, 6 championships,
Caps,
more
Skyhook.
MVPs than Michael Jordan.
You know, people say Mike's the GOAT, but if he's the GOAT, you gotta.
What does Kareem have to do to become the GOAT?
Right. Kareem's got the same kind of accomplishments on him.
Same amount of championships, more MVPs.
There's just honestly so many great players.
It's hard.
I don't know if I could squeeze out a solid 10. It's switching every.
It's ridiculous,
other day.
ain't it?
Every other day, I find a new stat about one player.
I mean, they're coming with them out of nowhere now.
And everybody's got a different opinion that might sway yours.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So everybody's got a little something that's different possibly for themselves. I know on this show, even when we were talking about our top 5 shooting guards, I had a totally different way of thinking about it than he did. And we ended up with two completely different lists. You know what I'm saying? So it all depends on taste and it's all a different perspective. As long as people ain't sitting here and saying that, Langston Galloway is a top 5 player of all time, then we all cool, you know what I'm saying? Or Zaza Pachulia or, motherfuckers like that.
In your guys' opinion, who is the greatest player of all time?
The greatest.
You go first.
Okay, so the greatest,
like a meerkat, dude. You were
I had an answer. The greatest player, because I love this one. The greatest player, meaning accomplishments overall, what they've done in their career.
Yeah.
I believe, no doubt, it's between Michael Jordan and probably Kareem. You could probably add LeBron somewhere in that list as well, because he's put up such great numbers. By the time his career ends, he's gonna have a lot of records.
He's already top 10 in assists.
You know what I'm saying? He's gonna have a lot of records. You know what I'm saying?
He's on his way to become number 1, and he's top 10 in assists.
It's possible that he gets the number 1 spot in terms of total points. All time.
It's possible. As long as he doesn't get a massive injury or anything, I see it.
I can see it. I can see him play another 5 years.
What? This is his second year under the 4-year contract with the Lakers.
He goes to another team, goes out and balls out.
I think he'll stay in LA unless, except for the only thing, if somebody gets his son, they basically got LeBron because he really wants to play with his son before he goes.
You know what? For some reason, I just hope the Mavericks that year before LeBron's son comes out, so I could have myself a nice LeBron Mavericks jersey.
LeBron, Luka, Bronny Jr.
And
we might still have Porzingis at it. Who knows?
Yeah.
Porzingis might grow out long hair and be dirt from early 2000s.
Hey, older LeBron and Luka, I would love to see that anyway. But what about you? That's my greatest player.
I don't really think it depends on what you mean by greatest. Are we talking about championships or who was just the best player?
That's what I was thinking too. Because best player would be different for me.
When I think greatest player, I like to think who's. You would say best. I would say best player.
Okay. Okay. Best player. I think as far as greatest, I think Kareem is Kareem has the strongest case for me. I would put him up there because, but I don't think there's necessarily a greatest player. It's different. It's hard to different eras.
15 years, 20 years.
Look at how different the NBA back from when Kareem is playing now.
Yeah, a Michael Jordan. If he ran around, or not ran around, but if he was in the league and he was like, damn, y'all can load manage. You know what I'm saying? Or damn, y'all got this, or this is how you're supposed to eat, or different things like that. It would change for you.
Michael Jordan took care of his body the way LeBron does now with the technology he has.
Hey, who knows? Mike might have been playing.
Might have had 8 championships.
Might have.
So it'd be totally different. But your best player?
My skill wise, gotta give it to Kobe. Kobe. I think Kobe was the most skilled player in NBA history. I think the hard work that you saw him put in, that everybody knows he put in. The guy was he was with the SEALs getting waterboarded to understand how to act under pressure. That's otherworldly.
That's next level shit. I would say Kobe Bryant too for me because it's weird to find a person in the same body where he's got footwork on the level of Hakeem, but then he can get hot like a Curry or a Clay, but then he's got the post fadeaway like a Michael Jordan, but then he can get up and slam it on you too. He had all these different things that he could do, even though he may not have been the most efficient, accomplished dude in the world. I think his skills I think he had the most skills. And we've been thinking that one for months. Even before anything had ever happened with the tragic thing, we were both saying
I just think he's more. MJ had a lot of gifts that he didn't have. I think physically, MJ had the $1 million hands. Those hands were massive. They're around Kawhi Leonard's length. You could just palm the ball casually and just move it around. There's not many people I've seen do that. And Michael could jump a lot higher, and I think he was faster than Kobe as well. But I've seen Michael get hot from the 3-point line in 2 occasions maybe, but Kobe used to just pull up it was nothing sometimes.
Yeah.
But what about you? So best player?
Best player. Skill wise,
and I could see Curry. You know, I could see Curry because I mean, skills wise, I mean, how many more people are more skilled than Curry?
I would put LeBron up there as well.
LeBron.
I mean, that makes sense.
There ain't nothing wrong with that.
I mean, you know,
from top to bottom, he does it all.
I mean, he wanted, like, back in his younger days. I think at some point he might have even, you know, lined up in the inner circle for that tip off. He might have, you know, he might have played positions at some point.
Especially back then. I mean, imagine somebody Karl Malone's height, like, and Karl Malone around his strength level, running that like as fast as Russell Westbrook. That'd be insane.
He doesn't have the best handles in the world, but you know he
gets there.
Good enough.
He has what he needs.
I think he's the best passer in the NBA. Like
legit
right now.
Legit. I think personally, in my eyes, like top 3 passer I've ever, top 3, top 4, top 5 passer I've ever seen like play the game, like ever seen.
His passes are just like on point.
On point. I mean,
perfect vision.
Some of his like baseline passes that he throws, like from the other side of the 3-point line, is ridiculous.
And how far ahead he thinks.
But you know, the only part of the game that I don't like of his is, you know, he kind of lays back on defense.
Yeah.
Quite a bit,
I mean, this year he's like the best. Like, I mean, as far as defensive win shares, he's number 1.
I feel like I still see some of these games when he's.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't. He's definitely not playing as hard on defense as he's on offense.
As he used to. You know,
well, I mean that's gonna come with age, you know.
Yeah, to me it was when he lost that Defensive Player of the Year award.
Yeah.
And then I mean he was really upset about that. That's when I kind of saw the defense. He's like, "You're right, they're not gonna give it to me. I'm done."
Yeah.
It's very subjective and it's kind of it's very, you know, like it's kind of, they don't necessarily look at the games necessarily. They're just kind of looking for a certain number in there. But so is there anything, I don't know, like neither of us are like super uber Jordan fans here, like super uber, but is there anything that LeBron can do to take that mantle of being the greatest of all time in people's minds? I mean, he's 35 years old.
I think he's up there right now, but
I think, like, honestly, I think he's both the best skilled player
and the greatest
ever, and I think he's my greatest player of all time.
What do you think he can do for people who are like huge Jordan fans who'd be like, "Hey, change your mind"?
I think what he needs to do before he retires, I think he needs to at least match Jordan's 6 rings. For people to. Because if he has the 6 rings, because that's what are the Jordan fans arguing right now?
It's 6-0.
Jordan has 6. Jordan has 6.
6-0.
6-0. 6-0.
I think
you know, if LeBron could squeeze out maybe 7 before he retires, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
But you know,
it's gonna be hard to kind of please them Jordan fans.
Jordan fans, you know, especially living in the radius of Chicago, it's going to be hard to convince those.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I got them on right now, so I mean,
it's very. I mean, like I got family members who grew up on Jordan, and it's like there ain't nothing you can do to make me think in my mind like that anybody's better than Jordan, greater than Jordan. Like Jordan was what it was. But getting off those topics, what team do you expect to win the championship this year? And I mean, that could be different from what team do you want to win the championship this year?
Well, the team that I honestly, this people might be like, what, really? But I could see the Nuggets just surprising everybody.
That's different. That's
honestly,
different.
Just
that's different.
I can see it though. I mean, from top to bottom, there's stack of skilled players.
Look at Jokic. Looks like he's in probably best shape he's been in his
career. He said he lost around 40 pounds.
I think he's one of the best skilled big men in this league behind.
Yeah, I think he's one of the best passing big men of all time. Yeah, he's definitely up there.
Ridiculous.
With like
I've only seen
ridiculous passing.
I've only seen few players
that can pass like that. That can pass the ball like that.
But I don't know, because it's honestly, I could see the Nuggets. You know, they could get this number 1 seed. You know?
I mean, they're on their way.
They're second seed right now, so.
Second seed, but if Paul George could come back healthy, then, you know, stop being so fragile, and Kawhi, you know, doesn't do all this.
I don't think he'll do load management in the playoffs. I think he's ready to go.
Nah, he's ready to go. I think the playoff time comes
around. Yeah, I think it's honestly the 2 favorable teams are the
Clippers and
that's interesting.
I mean, Lakers and the Nuggets.
And I'm super high on the Nuggets. I'm super high on the Nuggets in the sense that really very young team, but they're incredible on both ends of the floor.
Jamal Murray, man.
Yeah, you know, I mean, he's gonna be a top 10 point guard maybe one day if he keeps working.
Eventually.
What do you think of Michael Porter? Incredible, ain't he?
Man.
6'11", he can shoot the ball like that. That's nice stuff right there from a player.
It went from a day in basketball to when Dirk was one of the few close to 7-footers that could shoot to
everybody can.
Damn,
You have to like
that's a thing now.
Yeah, every big man has to
at least a mid range.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd say that Dirk is still the best shooting big man of all time.
Oh yeah,
hands down.
He
had it like Curry from deep, and it was so hard to block somebody 7 foot like that, especially on the fadeaway. Fadeaway is up there with the skyhook as far as like MJ's fadeaway as far as like legendary moves to me.
That was about automatic as it gets. You weren't touching that one either. So
that was one of the things where like he goes to shooting, you're just like praying like please mess this up because he had to mess up for him to miss.
And I think people forget about that, like how good Dirk actually was, like how good he actually was for real.
Plus he was a lifer. That was one of the things I really respect. When you come to one team, you win it. Even I don't care if it's 1 ring, 2 ring. If you play there your whole career, that's like that's big for me.
There was really one time I was fearing the year KD went to the Warriors. I've seen reports of
I saw
Dirk
that.
might sign with the Warriors. I was like, don't do that. Because I just like the Warriors even now because back when they were winning the 3 championships, right? Everybody cheering the Warriors.
Yeah.
Where are they at now?
Yeah, I mean now they're all Lakers or Clippers fans. They're
Clippers
Clippers fans.
Yeah, there's really just Clippers fans.
They were Warriors fans because they didn't like LeBron, so now they're Clippers fans.
I'm not gonna say I'm a Lakers fan, but I'm a LeBron fan. So where LeBron goes,
that's where
I'm gonna support that team.
Mm-hmm.
The Lakers are up there in the top 5 teams that I like. But you know what?
Yeah. I mean, I get that. It's much more of a player-driven league than it was before, you know?
Mavericks, though, that's always going to be my team over.
And the Warriors are interesting because you can go back now, especially. That's what, like, the Warriors might be the definition of bandwagon. Like, in the sense, like, I remember when they started getting off, and then all of a sudden you seen all these Warrior fans showing up to school. I'm like, you were the Warriors fan before. Like, Miami, too, but.
Miami had,
in all sports or just basketball?
No, this is just basketball. Because when the Warriors started winning in 2014, I'm like, you're a Warriors fan, dude? I thought you was a...
I heard nobody talking about the Warriors.
You know what I'm saying?
There were 2 Warriors fans I knew back
then. And then I started playing 2K online. And everybody's using the Warriors. I'm like, damn.
They might be the definition of bandwagon, for real. Because I remember only one person I knew, like my friend BJ. He was talking about like the Warriors in like 2012. He's like, I love Steph Curry, da.
CT also was a Warriors fan.
CT was also a Warriors fan. That's right. I forgot. And he's a big LeBron fan now. But yeah, that's what I remember. I remember that.
Oh yeah, the Warriors.
I remember that. Like the big
I had no problem with them
until
KD came there. Before they were just like they were a home built team. They felt wholesome. They were just better. They were just better than everybody else.
You had to add a 5th All-Star?
Yeah.
What, DeMarcus Cousins? Yeah.
I mean, but whatever team I'm on, if I have the chance to sign KD, I'm gonna sign him.
Yeah.
That's my thing. Like that's I think on the Warriors end, you know what I'm saying?
It didn't seem fair anymore.
Now there are teams who have I remember they were saying Derrick Rose when LeBron was leaving Cleveland and about to go to Miami, he wanted to go to Chicago. Yeah. And Derrick Rose said like, nah, I don't want you. Nah, I don't want that. So they could have been like, no, but for an organization perspective, we gonna take KD if we can get KD.
Yeah.
You know.
Derrick Rose probably like, I'm out. You guys with LeBron. I'm going to Miami.
Now think about it, man. LeBron coming to Chicago. That would have been crazy.
Something. Talk about the next MJ. The comparison would be even more ridiculous than now.
That would have been people would probably switch their opinions so fast on LeBron.
That probably would have been the only way to convince the Chicago fans.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And even then, it'd be hard to convince them still. Because they'd be like, well, he ain't better than D Rose. Like, they'll put up a fight on anything, bro. They'll put up a fight on anything. They don't care.
I don't know. I think D Rose might be one of them. I hear people talk shit about D Rose till this day in Chicago.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, he was an amazing player, but when they think of him like, man, he was better than Westbrook is right now before he got. I'm like, dude, don't let me slap taste out of your mouth. Come on now, like
Westbrook, he deserves a championship.
I really hope he gets.
There's this small part of my heart that just hopes that
that's my team that I want to get there to like satisfy the hunger for a championship for James Harden and Russ. That'd be like.
You think that 6-6 is gonna?
It's either gonna get destroyed in the playoffs or they're gonna run into it.
I like the idea.
I like the playoffs though.
Okay, so here's
it'll be
the
hard
thing.
when they face teams like Anthony Davis.
When you face the Lakers, it'll be tough. What they're gonna do is what the Jazz did in the first game that they played the Rockets after that system. So what they did was that they put their big on Westbrook. They basically forced him to shoot, and if you try to go to the rim, he's gonna block it like every time. But Westbrook still bumped his chest and
Westbrook still
he's strong, bro. He's ridiculous.
A couple years ago, I would say he was the best point. I don't know. I feel like
he's definitely up there.
But you know.
Yeah. I think he's got at the heart. The fact that he plays every game like it's his every possession like it's his last possession.
Goes 100%.
Yeah,
every single time.
I think he's one of the closest players in the league to like back when it was like Kobe, Allen Iverson back then. I mean, just nonstop punching it in the paint and then
warrior mentality on him every single time, and that's what I love about Westbrook.
I mean, just the other night he wanted to fight the whole Clippers roster, the whole Warriors roster.
Wait, what? I missed that game. What
basically
what
it was like they tried to hold him on a layup, and then afterward he like smacked dude in the chest, and then like he got into it with a dude, he smacked the chest, and another guy came and took the ball out of his hand, and then he was just nonstop like he was arguing with Clay. Clay was in a suit on the bench, and he was arguing with Clay.
Everybody ended up getting his second technical.
He was in Andrew Wiggins' face. Andrew Wiggins was on the bench. He was just nonstop. He got ejected from the game.
And you could tell like the mental makeup. I remember a few years ago. I don't know if you remember this. This was like the year after. This was the year after his MVP like award, and they're playing the Raptors just on a random like mid-season type shit. And I think he gets fouled, or like somebody got fouled. He's got the ball in his hand. And he's just sitting down there with the ball, holding on to it. Valanciunas tries to get it out of his hand. And he's like, man, stop. Like, he just jerks it away from him. And then Valanciunas tries to get it again. He's like, nah, get the fuck up off me. And then he, like, gets up in his face. And then in the fourth quarter, he scored, like, 20 points. Like, he be using shit like that to fuel himself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, he literally sat there with the ball. Come take it so I can get angry. Like,
he really just be like, when he gets angry, it's like either one of two things. Either he's... one thing you do know, he's going to go hard as he possibly can. Yeah. That's the good
whether that works out or not, that depends on who they're playing against.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be interesting to see them go forward.
That's who I want to. That's who. If I could give anybody a ring in the NBA right now, it'd be him or CP3.
Yeah.
If I could just give out a ring.
Another thing too, Kevin Garnett, he was just on All the Smoke and he was talking about this. So he said like he heard that Kobe Bryant was waking up at like 4:30 in the morning to go work out, and then so Kevin Garnett was like, well, I gotta do the same thing. I'm not gonna just let him beat me like that. He started working out at 4:30 in the morning. But the reason why he ended up going to the Celtics is because he was working so hard, working out at 4:30 in the morning, working out 2-3 times. He was like, damn, the fans don't know that I'm working this hard, you know what I'm saying, or that I'm doing all this stuff in order, but they just see me out there on the court and they just think, oh, I'm like I'm not that good of a player compared to somebody else. So he was like, I need to show people that I really am that type of player. So that's part of the reason he went to Boston. And I know some players probably feel like that too. They feel like, damn, I do all this shit and then but it's never going to work out in my favor if I continue to play on this team who doesn't have the resources for me at the moment. So I think that's part of the reason why some players do what they do. It's just interesting to see what Kevin Durant did. Yeah. It was interesting to see.
It was interesting to see. And at first I was like, fuck KD. Get him out of here. I hate this. Because he was my favorite player at the time. But now I'm kind of like, why does he have to say that because I like him? Like, I mean, I'm just, to him, I'm just another fan. He doesn't know anybody anything. I think he went about it the wrong way. And I would have liked him to go to maybe a different team. But I mean, then besides the Warriors, like if he'd have gone to Boston and had been like, you know what, that's tough, but I mean that's not as bad as like the team that just like mollywopped you,
Yeah, it was.
They came back and like ran.
He went to a team that came back from 3-1.
Yeah, like I mean they ran back to 3-1 sweep. They were like, you know what, we're taking all 3 games.
You know what I'm saying? And just like in this competitive environment that we live in, whether you
just because like I mean I don't want to pull up old tweets about him because I know like.
Oh, you talking about the 2010 shit?
Because he gave fun like everybody going to Miami now, huh? And then he went and like.
To the Warriors, I get exactly because I remember what's the name, and that's why I don't like to use stuff like that. Because I remember
tweet, but I thought he had a different competitive nature about him. It was more like me against the world,
And everybody's got different levels of competitiveness in them. Like I feel like Kevin Durant, one of them type of people, like he's looking for like self-discovery. You know what I'm saying? Through the game, like he's like, oh, I want to learn this and I want to learn this, and let's see how good of a basketball player I can be. Whereas Westbrook, if they lose a game, he's finna stay up all night, like fucking pissed off about it. You know what I'm saying? Like there's different levels of competitiveness involved in this. And he's got just kind of a little bit something different that ticks in his head, I feel like. What rookies this year, or what rookie this year is really impressive?
Rookie or second-year player.
Or second-year player, too, because second-year players are really blowing up, too.
Rookie and second-year players. Obviously, I mean, Luka showed that.
Yeah. And it's, second-year player, man.
Luka's looking like a top 10, top 5 player right now.
But, you got Ja Morant from the...
Love Ja Morant.
We both love Ja Morant. That's my favorite rookie.
That's my I got no beef with Zion, but I mess with Ja.
But if Zion could just perform the way if he could just continue to
get out there,
play. That's all they need to do is just play.
If they take off do they still have him on the minute restriction?
No, he's playing
full force now.
Just had 25 yesterday.
Damn. If he could just continue to do that, I don't know.
I mean, it's close. I think Rookie of the Year will be decided by the 8th seed, I think. If they can take the 8th seed from the Grizzlies, I think it'll be Zion's award.
then you got Bridges from
the Hornets. They don't. No, he doesn't get talked about enough. Even on this show, he doesn't get talked about enough. He's talented, man. Really good. Devontae Graham is a torch. Yeah, on the Hornets, a torch on the Hornets.
There's a lot of young players that.
I think people be sleeping on Aiden a little bit because Phoenix is such a small team and they're not doing anything at the moment. But he's going to be great. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just a small team, but Aiden can really, really ball. I think he's averaging like 18 and 12. He's a really good player.
I think he's like he looks a lot like Joel Embiid or young Joel Embiid.
Jaren Jackson is really, really balling over on Memphis. He's doing his thing as well. Of course, my personal second year player is Trae Young. I love what Trae Young's been doing so far this year. I love what he's been doing. And we got into a debate about that. Not about the top 10 thing. About the top, because he said he's not a top 10 point guard in the NBA. I say he is.
I just don't like
right now.
Like I just think he's good. And
you can't deny
it's a skill, but like to me, to validate that you can be a top 10, you have to do it while winning. Like you have to do the stats plus the winning. You know.
I think that's
like I don't think I'm not gonna say any player, but like. There are a lot of players in this league. Like Klay Thompson's never got a shot at winning, but the reason, like, if he was averaging like 26 on a team by himself, he wouldn't be a top 3 shooting guard. You know, people wouldn't pick him over James Harden in the like if a playoff game you need to win. But like to be able to do what you can do and still win, that's to me what makes you a top 10.
I think that's fair and that's a lot, but I think we gotta knock down. I want to knock down that wall. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like there's so many players out here who be balling legit, and it's just like, look, man, like I got 2 rookies that are starting with me, and they're still getting their feet under them. They don't even know really what's going on at the moment just yet. We got one guy who got suspended 25 games in John Collins. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, we just kind of, I don't know what I'm really working with here. And then that's the part where I'm like, okay, you know. So even Devin Booker. Yeah. Like, Devin Booker's balling out of control, one of the better shooting guards in the NBA. Like, I will keep that on my mind, like, forever. Well, you know what I'm saying?
The shooting guard list is a little bit smaller than the point guard list, but the point guard list is just so elite to take.
And I feel like Trae Young, like, what he's been able to do, he's just incredible at 21 years old. So I like the way he plays as well as Ja Morant. I love the way both of them play. Is there any teams that have surprised you this year?
Surprised me this
I know
year?
For me it's the Raptors.
Miami for me.
Well, I don't know. The Raptors, I would agree with Jelani.
No, I think they'd win in a series, but I think I didn't think that the Raptors were going to fall off that hard. Like I thought they would still be a competitive team like they are now. But Miami has come out of nowhere. I thought Miami was going to be a dog shit team.
And Adebayo.
Yeah.
Great player.
Surprising player.
Excellent player.
Skills.
Arguably most improved player of it
really?
now.
Yeah. Really looking at it right now that I'm thinking about it.
Him, Brandon Ingram, and maybe a couple other people. But
Devontae Graham as well is up there as well. I love the way he's played this year. But is there a surprise? So you say the Raptors?
Yeah, because I feel like thinking that you had Kawhi, you won the championship last year, and then you lose. You could argue him being the best player in the world.
Yeah, one of them, right definitely.
But thinking that you lose the player who got you to a championship.
The biggest shot in arguably NBA history in that corner shot. And then
shooters bounce.
Yeah. So I think I gotta give props to Pascal Siakam for just stepping up and basically being like, hey, it's my team now.
Hey.
Big time, man. Is there any team that's disappointed you? Like, I know for me it's been Portland. Portland so far has been the disappointing team this year for me.
Record-wise, the Rockets disappointed me a little bit.
You know,
because some people were picking them to be the first seed in the West.
I mean,
this year, some people were
disappointments. You know,
Philly too. Philly, big disappointment.
I can't say that I didn't see that one coming with Philly. I saw that one coming.
I thought they were arguably with their roster, like Al Horford, Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, Ben Simmons. Like they were like arguably one of the best teams on paper in the league,
especially with all the length that they have on the floor.
Oh no, I can't say there's a team that's
disappointed.
Disappointed, but you know, just teams that
underperformed a little bit.
Yeah, like you know. Yeah. I know the Bulls aren't the best team in the world, but come on.
You know what? Here's the thing. So me and my friend be arguing about this, and we think the Bulls can be so much better than what they really are. And it's like I'm not saying they should be like, oh well, they should be a top 2 team in the East, but I feel like this is a legit top 6, 7 team like in the Eastern Conference as of like talent wise. Looking at what they have, it's just that the coaching and the front office is just so like mind boggling to me. I don't get them.
I feel like it's all Chicago sports. Just every owner needs to sell their team.
You see what I'm saying?
Just restart the whole like front office and everything.
Because man, the Chicago Bears ain't doing anybody no favors either.
They just need just the front office. That's what I feel like it all comes down to.
And I feel like
player relations.
They at the first take when they had Chicago All-Star Weekend, the crowd was chanting "Fire guard packs." They were chanting like for real. So I don't know if they really gonna go through with that one, but that's
the only time they used to watch us in Chicago, so they had to say that.
I was like, damn, that's crazy. But is there any players really surprised you?
Surprised me,
Making a disappointing factor,
or for the you said what?
For a disappointing factor or just surprised?
Just surprised, like surprised in terms of like, what? Dang, I didn't know he was like that good, or he was gonna step up like that.
For me, Trae Young, I'm not a fan of like shooters.
Really guys who shoot it from real deep far.
Yeah, but, I didn't expect him to really like just.
Like come up. I mean, he's making the conversation him or Luka.
No,
And I think
he started slow last year, so a lot of people were like, because I mean, the beginning of the year, obviously Luka was like hands down, but then he kind of he started hitting game winners towards the end of last season.
Being talk about who could.
And
that's gonna be the talk probably for their entire careers. Yeah. Is there any player for you?
Surprising player. To me, I got to give it to either Jimmy Butler. I didn't think he was going to go off on. I didn't think he was going to take that Miami squad to the next level to hey, we're like a surprising team. Or I got to go with maybe Kemba. I didn't think he was going to do as good with the Celtics as he has been.
That's a good one. I mean, I don't think people had high expectations.
I don't have anybody that surprised me like statistically. Like I would then come into the league like I think everybody has the ability to do
what they
really powerful nights. I think James Harden has been a little disappointing towards the second half of the season, like towards the All-Star break. But besides that, no really surprises for me.
I would say for me, and I'm really debating in my head right now, but. I mean, I really don't know if anybody thought Pascal Siakam was going to average 25 points a game this year. Like, I don't think anybody was thinking
I think he was going to be 20, but I didn't think it would be up to 25.
I didn't know he was going to. I didn't know that.
He started. He was taking the helm as far as score. Yeah, he started. He was taking the scoring helm from Kawhi Leonard.
I just didn't. I was like, I don't know. Like, I think he's a good player, but I didn't know he was like this. So that'd be probably my one player. Is there anything that we really need to hit on? I think we hit on every damn thing. Is there any questions you got for us here?
I got one more for you before you do that. Okay, right now, who are your top 5 most elite players in the league right now? From order, one to bottom.
Damn,
most elite.
Yeah, most elite. Because there's top tier and then there's elite, and then that's when we're talking about Giannis, Bron, Kawhi.
Well, my top 5 elite players.
If everybody's healthy, of course.
Order?
If everybody's healthy.
In order.
Yeah.
I got LeBron at 1.
Okay.
Kawhi at 2. Giannis at 3. Damn.
Is KD up or next or no?
Healthy, right?
Yeah, pretty healthy.
Yeah, if they're fully healthy, you gotta put KD up there, and then if they're fully healthy, I would. I think I'd put Curry in there.
So that's your top 5 most elite players.
That's a solid
list. If they're fully healthy, yeah.
Most of those are on my list too. It may not be the same order.
What's your
in order for me right now, I can't put Kawhi above Giannis because of the load management. It's hard for me to do that for him, and because LeBron didn't. Now that we're more into the season, it's easier for me to put LeBron above Kawhi. But at the beginning of the season, it was like he didn't make the playoffs. Kawhi won a ring. I have to put him above Kawhi above him. So I'll go Giannis, Bron. Because, I mean, Kawhi, I'm not going to say he's been disappointing, but he hasn't been playing the level I thought he was at.
Yeah.
Then Kawhi, KD, and then I think when he's like really, like when he has the heat, James Harden.
I'll go, yeah.
Okay. I would go with, my list is going to look totally different from y'all.
Ooh.
I think I did this earlier. For the first episode, I did one. But I have to switch it around a little bit just because I'm like, damn, like now I'm seeing things a little bit. I was like,
at the beginning I had LeBron. I had LeBron at second and Kawhi at number 1. Like Giannis was at number 3 for me at the beginning of the season.
I have KD
number 1.
KD's gonna be my number 1 till KD gets old and does some I mean, because I know from a playoffs perspective, I know what he brings.
Yeah.
So KD, I still, in my opinion, I still love Kawhi. So I got Kawhi at 2. I got Bron at 3. I can't put. As much as I love James Harden, there's no way in hell I can sit here and rationalize that Giannis isn't above him at the moment. So I would say Giannis and then James Harden would be my 5. And I would probably have Curry at 6, but it's it'd be hard for me on that one. But yeah, those would be my 5 players. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. And so that's all the NBA just ran it down with Uriel. I love talking about that with you. That was some interesting insight. You gave some, because a lot of people, they kind of give the same answers, and you gave some really good answers right there.
Top 5 lists were basically identical, just in different order.
I swear. So We're going to get back to you guys. We're going to be talking about Wilder and Fury 2. That should be a very interesting one. Just a Casuals Insight, Jelani Smith, Dakota Mitchell, Uriel. Stay tuned. Back on Just a Casuals Insight, episode 19. We told you guys what we were going to be talking about, so let's get right into it. Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury is the rematch tonight, and I'm guessing the main event is going to be at 10 o'clock tonight. Mm-hmm. Tyson Fury comes in 29-0, 20 knockouts. Deontay Wilder, big knockout puncher, 42 wins, no losses, 41 knockouts. Let's just get directly into it. Fight predictions. Who do you think is going to come out?
I don't watch a whole lot of boxing, but from what Fury said, he was underweight in the last fight. He still, basically, a lot of people think he won the fight. Mm-hmm. Now he's at regular weight. If Wilder couldn't beat him on his worst night, how is he going to beat him on his best night now that he's actually ready for the fight? Mm-hmm. And so for that reason, the fact that he's bigger now, I think Fury's going to win personally.
I have Fury as well because I feel like he knows, he's kind of like realized he's gone back in the film and he's looked kind of and probably been able to exploit Wilder's weaknesses a little bit, especially because Wilder's not the tightest fighter, the most technical guy in the world. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Fury, as you said, did outbox him in that fight. He's got the better technique out of the two. And if Wilder gets tired, he's prone to a lot of shots going in. So I feel like Fury's going to win this one by decision.
I see Fury winning, but I think he's going to
knock him?
I think he's going to knock him out this fight.
I think he's what he said he plans on doing.
What people don't realize is if they go back and watch that first fight, in like 3 or 4 different rounds, towards the end when Wilder got a little crazy, Fury caught him with some good shots and that stunned him and wobbled him. Fury was like 256 last fight. I think he weighed in yesterday at 273.
So he's heavy.
So that's 20
pounds is a lot more.
And what people are saying is it doesn't look like it's like out of shape. It looks like it's just solid muscle mass. And if he has muscle behind already a good polished boxing base, like already a better boxer, all he needs is power. And
it's gonna be an interesting fight. I think it's gonna be a very good fight because Wilder is not he ain't nobody. This is one of the most known, and he's got hard gladiator mentality about him. And both. That's the interesting thing about this whole thing. Both of them got that warrior gladiator mentality.
Both of them are definitely
very much
competitive people.
You know what I mean? Like when Wilder hit him with that last shot, I thought okay, he ain't getting back up on this one.
And people always say it, but I stand like people online when they say it was some Undertaker stuff from WrestleMania. Like he sat
that
up
was
and
crazy.
Got up out of nowhere.
That was crazy.
I think the fact that he put on weight and that he's like prepared more for this fight will be a big difference. Because I think if he'd have stayed on his feet last fight, he would have won for sure.
Oh yeah, if he didn't go down that 12th round, he would have won.
Yeah. So I mean, especially if he stays on his feet this time. I mean, it's easier said than done. But how strong Wilder is. I mean, I can just say, hey, stay on your feet. Like it's not that easy. That's like saying stay in front of Russ Westbrook.
And Wilder can be a little bit unpredictable with the shots coming in. So it'll be a very, 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 very interesting fight to see. Is Fury the most entertaining boxer in the game today? I mean, I know the trash talk game he's got going on is pretty damn good.
Well, I would say so because, like, he's really besides Deontay Wilder, he's the only other fighter that's out there outspoken.
Yeah,
like he's
really out there.
Very Conor McGregor.
And I think boxers kind of missing that a little bit.
Conor McGregor, like calling his shots, saying what they're gonna do.
Especially with the heavyweight division.
Yeah, and it's the heavyweight division. When's the last time that
you had fighters like
this in the heavyweight division?
Because you had a lot of guys who kind of just stuck to especially the Klitschko brothers. You know, when they were in, they were kind of humble and they didn't really talk much, and they were just, we're gonna come out there and we're gonna do it. But Tyson Fury, he wants to get in there a little bit. He wants to talk.
He called out Vladimir Klitschko, and honestly, that's another way I can see the fight going the way that he did
with Klitschko.
With Klitschko, just jab and try to.
Yeah, I don't think
his range.
From what I've heard, I don't think Deontay is can go the distance with Fury. As far as I don't think he can keep up his pace.
Conditioning wise,
I think the weight this time is gonna play a big factor, but the biggest factor is he switched training camps from his last fight with Wilder.
Mm-hmm.
He went to a training camp that kind of like prides themselves on putting people to sleep, like knocking people out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
it's gonna be fun.
He's already a better boxer, and if he's working on the stuff
I think he has more stamina too. So
Yeah.
I mean, imagine somebody like him trying to knock you out for
conditioning.
12 rounds. There's no way. That's tough.
And I know some people might think, well, why don't Wilder just get better with his technique and stuff like that? And the thing about it is, I can see Wilder as one of those guys who's very overconfident. Not overconfident, because I mean, he's got 41 knockouts. You know what I'm saying? He's probably thinking in his head, if I get him in one shot, it's gonna be lights out with this one. Even though that first fight, but as a fighter, I can see Wilder coming in and still being completely confident in the ability to knock him out.
Before the last fight, the one thing that I think that Deontay Wilder spoke 100% truth on is that he said Tyson Fury has to be 100% perfect for all 12 rounds. I only have to be perfect for 1 second.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the truth.
That's the thing about Wilder. That's the thing
one punch
about
can
Wilder.
put anybody out.
I mean, you can never prepare for how hard you have to get hit. Like, you can never sit here and be like, all right, it's going to have to hit me this hard for me to get knocked out. You know? That's not up to you. That's completely up to your brain.
Exactly.
So it's going to be...
I mean,
good fight.
To be fair, though, you can prepare as much as you want, but I mean, if somebody hits you that hard, you don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice but to go down. If you're...
Now, I don't want to downplay Deontay, though. I think he will come in I think he'll be cleaner this fight.
This will be this will be one of those fights.
I think he'll be ready for it.
I don't think Fury was the only one that went back and watched tape. And
I think you have to after that.
Like he probably went back and tried to crisp up on some of the stuff that he could have done better last fight.
And I think people I think all of us here prefer Fury, but we can definitely see Wilder winning the fight. You know what I'm saying? We could definitely see Wilder winning the fight.
I still say it's anybody's fight. I just if I had to bet money, I'd bet it on Fury.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's all that really is. But I could definitely see Wilder walking away with this fight win. So it's just like with a lot of other stuff, like in the NBA going on. You can see this is what I prefer, but I can definitely see the other way around.
Yeah,
so
that's basically how I feel about the Clippers and Lakers.
You can see the Lakers winning, or you can see the Clippers winning.
But you have to pick a favorite.
Yeah.
So for you, preferably boxing or UFC, which one draws you in a little bit more?
Well, UFC is what got me into like the combat sports. So
definitely UFC for you.
Probably more UFC. But boxing, the last couple years have just been.
They've been entertaining, man. They're getting back to
guys like him are really helping out.
Outspoken days. And the lighter fighters are
that's
good
that's my type of fighter. Any type of fighter is just somebody who can talk trash and back it up. And
that's the most entertaining person like in boxing, when you have somebody who can draw like that and be able to do stuff like that. And that's why I like we were talking about before we got on there, and we were talking about Conor McGregor, and I feel like if he was in boxing, my God, he'd be making about as much money as Floyd Mayweather does. Legit. Like
he boxed from the age he started MMA, by the time he was this age at 30, I think he'd already have more money than Floyd does.
Yeah, like I mean, and we're talking about Floyd, who's like damn near a billionaire. You know,
Conor McGregor's he's probably already maybe halfway to what Floyd is worth.
Not to mention, I have no like this to Floyd Mayweather, but I think Conor's fights would be much more entertaining themselves.
Yeah,
Floyd was a
defensive fighter.
So he didn't like to get hit much, and he really didn't put himself in the position to get hit.
Which is why some people weren't messing with him. You know.
Conor was.
I know this him. I think he's still one of the best, if not the best fighter right now. Like, but I just think that's his only drawback is that sometimes his fights aren't the most entertaining to watch. Sometimes.
And that's my one gripe with him. Well, no, I have another gripe with him because I can't get mad at the whole defensive fighter thing because I'm like, okay, well, you got to protect yourself. You know. You don't want to get hit. That's the point. And hit the guy those more times.
Hit the guy more than you get hit.
Yeah.
My thing of him is what that Conor McGregor never does, and I like that about Conor McGregor. He's got that real spirit about him. Whereas I feel like Floyd Mayweather sometimes he kind of ducks people a little bit.
Like I feel like he's all about the money. Floyd,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Clearly, like he's like, if the money ain't right, I don't want to fight. Because I felt like years ago, had he fought Manny Pacquiao, it might have gone differently.
If he fought Manny Pacquiao,
it would have gone differently.
3 or 4 years
That's what I'm thinking.
To when he did.
That's what I'm thinking. It would have been a different fight.
I think Floyd could have ended up on.
I think it's smart. Yeah,
you know, it's smart.
It's smart. Why lose if you don't have to? But at the same, it's not a warrior spirit.
At that time, he wasn't Pretty Boy Floyd no more. He was just.
He was just. I mean, he was Floyd. He was still Floyd Mayweather. And let's not talk about how good Pacquiao was back then.
Man! And I feel like I don't want to say he was scared. I will not say he's scared. But I knew that he was watching Manny Pacquiao string together knockouts on guys.
It's just a smart business decision.
You know,
it was smart. I mean, that's like saying, would I play the Warriors tonight or wait till they're tired tomorrow night? Like I'd wait.
Yeah.
And Conor McGregor, he don't really duck people. You know what I'm saying? He fights.
I think for him sometimes it's more about he wants to fight you instead of wanting. It's not just about the money.
He wants you to just go out there and prove that he's the best. You know what I mean?
And at this point of his career, he doesn't have to worry about money. He has.
I don't think Floyd doesn't either, but he still wants as much as possible.
Floyd or McGregor, he's doing more than I see any other combat sports athlete doing right now.
Absolutely.
His whiskey is one of the sponsors for the fight tonight.
Floyd knows what he's doing.
He's the only other fighter that has a sponsor on the UFC canvas. He's the only UFC fighter that has their own sponsor on the canvas.
Marketing wise, the guy is definitely not stupid. Just when it comes to like reading ability, then we have a problem.
And we gotta get into.
I want to talk about one more thing when it comes to what we're talking about Floyd. Just a discussion. Floyd Mayweather said that he, without a doubt, should be no disrespect to LeBron James, he should be the fighter of the decade.
Oh, the athlete of the decade?
Yeah, athlete of the decade.
I would disagree because.
That's tough.
From what we're talking 2010 to 2020 or 2019, like between that time span, Floyd last fought like with him consistently fighting. I think it was who was it?
What was it? It was the McGregor fight, right? Or?
Well, I mean, his last actual boxing fight was against McGregor in 2016.
Yeah, 2016, 2017, sometime around there.
So that was already 3 years ago. But then before, he didn't fight since, I think it was Timothy Bradley back in like 2015. So he had, in like the last 7 years, he might have had like 3 fights.
Yeah. The difference between LeBron, who has to play 82 games every season.
LeBron played, he made the finals almost the last decade.
Yeah.
You can't really.
It's really hard to, I get
really
it though.
Argue against that.
Only the one time that he missed was against the last year. He didn't miss the playoffs.
And we're talking about the playoffs. He hasn't missed the playoffs since 2005.
And I think
until last year.
As far as consistency goes, it goes to LeBron for sure. But performance-wise, I think that might be a harder argument.
The big thing is what Floyd Mayweather is. He's undefeated.
Yeah,
being undefeated for a decade. That's tough to do in boxing. You know what I'm saying?
He's not only undefeated for a decade. He's undefeated for like
ever.
He's been. Yeah. He's had film where people could go back and watch and say, "Hey, this is how you beat him." But comes in every fight and somehow he wins.
And he's got the target on his back every time. But I do agree with that. I do agree with the whole LeBron sentiment on that one. I feel like I can't see any other athlete being LeBron. But I get it though. I get it though. Absolutely. 100%.
I mean, anybody who's gone undefeated their whole career, would obviously be like, "Hey, I deserve athlete of the decade."
But you haven't fought since you fought McGregor really, so that's 3 years ago. So I don't know if you could take really that time off.
And do you think that? Well, not with the athlete decade, getting off that a little bit. With Conor McGregor. What was I? Damn, I just had a whole thing that I was going to say about Wow, I really just lost my train of thought on that one. Hold on.
We'll wait for you.
It was something. Oh my gosh. It was about Conor McGregor, but I can't remember exactly what it was. All right, I'll get back to it a little bit later. You want to show the clip?
All right, so we're going to show for you guys Jason Whitlock's trying to turn things into a racist thing between Fury and Wilder. Because I hate Jason Whitlock. Just
pre-fight.
My least favorite analysis that I've ever heard.
This would be fun.
So let's just take a listen real quick.
No, in the first fight, there was a bit of a racial element to the pre-fight coming up, and boxing has a long tradition of.
I'm not so sure about that though. I'm not so sure there was no racism in the fight. I didn't see any.
No, not racism, but like there was a racial element to the hyping the fight. They used Great White Hope versus Black Fighters, a traditional
storyline.
We're all
human beings. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, pink, or green. We share the same blood. We are humans. This fight isn't a racial war between blacks and whites. This is a fight between the two most high-performance heavyweight on the planet, going toe-to-toe. There's nothing racial about this fight. I've got nothing against Deontay Wilder as a man, and he has nothing against me as a man. But as two fighters, we really want to give it each other.
So that's basically the whole. I'm not gonna play the whole 8-minute bit because then I'm basically just putting their show on this one. But I just thought the whole thing was ridiculous.
It's very interesting to me. It's very interesting to me.
It is. I mean, the last fight it was just probably a misunderstood
kind of thing going on.
Kind of thing, like Jason Whitlock, God bless, but sometimes he might not be the most brightest.
I don't like him at all.
But it went back to the Tyson Fury saying that, talking about him as a gypsy, going back 200 years, his people were fighting, and Deontay Wilder said, "Well, my people have been fighting for 400 years," meaning.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not.
All that, but
I don't want to. I'm gonna say the usual thing is neither of you were fighting.
Yeah,
that much.
them personally, it might go back in your bloodline.
Yeah, but I mean,
you as like.
You're doing okay right now, so we'll say that much. We're doing, both of you guys are doing okay money wise.
Nobody is physically
we're both comfortable.
getting harmed in any way.
I think you look like you have an interesting thing to say about
no,
this.
I was
just
just,
I mean, you just look like you're deep in thought. So
it was just about Whitlock. Like, it's kind of interesting to me how somebody who, like, sometimes when racist things happen or prejudice things happen, and he's like the one person that'd be like, that wasn't racist. What is he talking about? And now he's trying to put a racial narrative out there, a racial angle out there. Yeah. Whether it was misunderstanding, I can understand that or not, but it's kind of weird coming from Whitlock. Like I said, I mean, personally, not a fan of him on this. Not a fan of him on this show. Personally,
I think due to the joke. At least anything NBA related, I think is a joke.
Sometimes I don't understand exactly the angle that he's coming from on something. So that's just the only part that bothers me. Like the part about, I mean, what you guys are saying about, pain from 400 years ago and stuff like that, I agree with. Of course, Deontay Wilder is not the one that has to go through that as of right now. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm fine with him saying like it affected him and all. That's completely understandable. But like, I mean, I don't like that he came out with that as a like counter argument. Like, you've been doing this, well, I've been doing. Like, come on, dude. Like, that's like. Get out of here! Like you scored 5 points, I scored 6. Like that's the equivalent of what he's doing, you know? Like, it just sounds ridiculous.
And I think he's just kind of maybe he might be speaking to some people besides himself, but that whole Jason, I can get all into Jason Whitlock and the stupid shit that he says sometimes, but I will not do that. It's just kind of weird to me coming from him that he would try to bring something like that. Like on some Larry Bird, Magic Johnson type shit. Are we finna make up a whole angle just to make Great White Hope versus
again,
you know what I mean? Like it's just.
I think the fight is hyped enough with them drawing last time and that being their only time not getting a dub.
Let's not add that. You know what I'm saying? Let's not add no divisiveness to this whole thing. Let's not turn into a race thing.
You know, we already got the
like back then. Boxing was because you had people back then like you had black people versus white people in a sense where it was like, okay, we cheering for Joe Louis. Oh no, we going for, you know what I mean? Like it meant something when like a white person or a black person beat somebody in a boxing match. It was like, oh, we're superior to you, even though that's a fucked up way of thinking. That's the way that they were thinking back then.
Same goes for Larry Bird, Magic Johnson.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But back now, 2020, that's not. I mean, some people maybe somewhere deep in Indiana somewhere probably think
it's 2020. Times have changed.
That shit just makes me like shake my head like, come on, guys.
Maybe somewhere deep in Indiana they probably think of some shit like that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that's the.
Well, I mean, I don't mean to make it a race thing, but even like deep in Chicago with the reverse way.
It could, absolutely. I mean, there are people, absolutely, 100%. So, but that's not the reality, that we live in nowadays compared to back then. That's not the same time period. So I just wasn't understanding exactly what he was getting into there.
You're just trying to slap a label on it to hype it up, I guess. I guess you're trying to sell this fight more, but you don't need to do that.
The tickets are already sold. The seats
you see what I'm saying?
Bought,
pay-per-view's already on, ready to go.
Pay-per-view's already.
Why do that, bro?
People who want to see the fight, they don't have to hear.
I just thought it was ridiculous. That was kind of like, come on, man.
And I'm not sure. I got my question back. Yeah. Let's switching off a little bit. I'm not sure if this is an issue anymore, but I know it's an issue of the past when they were talking about Conor McGregor in UFC, how he gets paid more than a lot of the fighters who he's going up against or the fighters on the roster. What do you feel about Dana White like distributing the money out to fighters?
Okay. Conor McGregor, people talking about they could be a bigger draw or they're a bigger draw than McGregor, or McGregor doesn't draw any fans anymore. He fought Donald Cerrone. They just put that pay-per-view together. They had no plans for that pay-per-view at all. Yeah. They just put it together when McGregor said, "I'm coming back January 18th." They said, "Oh shit, we're putting the pay-per-view that day then."
Yeah.
He's the biggest draw in the UFC.
In less than 10 minutes, that pay-per-view sold out.
Yeah.
Man.
$10 million already, bam. McGregor. That's the power he has. So if he's to get a $50 million check and the other fighter he faced only get maybe like a $5 million, $10 million, hey,
he's not getting $5 million without McGregor.
You're not getting that money you better be happy with what you get, because if you're not fighting McGregor, you're going back to making $50,000 a fight.
Yeah, it's a little similar to like NBA players or like even any other sport. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, one guy makes more than the other guy because guess what? You're a bigger draw than the other one. You know what I'm saying? Like,
perfect. I don't know if you say it, but like LeBron, like that's like.
I mean, in real time. I mean, not real time. In real money.
Who are people really buying tickets to see on the Lakers? LeBron or Kuzma?
Yeah,
that's really what.
Not to mention Kuzma been disappointing this year. Been highly inefficient.
I thought he would be a lot better
I thought he was going to be their third guy, but it's not a system to thrive in. I think he's kind of in the same situation as Brandon Ingram, where it's like, we know he's a good player, he just can't do it here.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying with the whole, like, people are coming to see LeBron and AD. They're not really coming to see, like...
They're not coming to see, like, the Kuzmas.
Yeah. I think it's more like... I think it's similar to the NBA and WNBA. Like, you only make as much people as you bring in. And that's I mean, if
unfortunately,
if you're more marketable, then you'll get more money.
Yeah,
so
that's exactly what's happening in that sense. Like, Dana White isn't playing favorites, but are you gonna pay? If
Conor McGregor stops, he loses. Like, how much money is the UFC?
Yeah, like they're gonna still make money, but they're not making the money with McGregor. It's like paying a janitor $15 an hour to just sweep up something when you could pay
another guy.
You could pay the cook that
cooks the food.
That's cooking the food. The $11 you're already paying them.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna pay the people off of their performance and
what they bring to the table. Yeah.
And I get it. Some of the marketing tactics they have for McGregor are bigger than the other guys. But the thing about McGregor is he's got the attitude, he's got the confidence in him, where like he's the big draw. You know what I'm saying? If you do it with Tyron Woodley, or I don't want to do that with somebody. But with certain people, it will not. With certain people, it just will not work the same way. You get what I'm saying? That's the business.
It's on you to market yourself.
That's
to
the
point
business
where people want to like come see your fight as much as they want to see McGregor. That's on you.
Like, at the end of the day, bro, it's a business. Like, so we can't sit here and be equal pay, because that's not how business works around here. We got to distribute it the way.
Imagine if every NBA player made the same amount of money.
You know what I'm saying?
It's ridiculous.
It's not. That's something like what?
Yeah, like if LeBron's making the same as like Caldwell Pope. Come on now.
So that's that. I was just asking that question because I know that's kind of a big thing in UFC from time to time. It's like the way Dana White treats some of the other fighters compared to McGregor.
Because the way they make money is so different from like any other sport. Like, it's like one match can be worth like how much, like $500 million or something like that for a Mayweather fight.
And then it's like, at the end of the night of every UFC event, Dana White gives out the fight of the night bonuses. So it's not like
you have an
don't get that chance to not get the extra money. You're not going to be able to grab somebody and land them for 5-minute rounds.
And then get the fight of the night.
Try to knock them out. Put somebody to sleep within the first 5 seconds, and you'll get knocked out of the night.
That's drawing on the fans a little bit. The fans don't necessarily want to see that kind of fight. They want to see somebody get knocked out. They want to see exciting stuff, you know.
Same thing as NBA and WNBA. They want to see above the rim action instead of like layups and 3-pointers. I have no problem with the WNBA. I think they're amazing. A lot of them could play in the NBA. It's just fans don't find it as exciting.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because I don't want to sit here and let's not act like we're haters of the WNBA. I love the WNBA. There are players out there that legit, like, they will bust my ass and anybody on the, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? WNBA players, they're amazing 100%. It's just that the income, like, it's to where we can't pay you as much as we would like.
I can't think of a solution to help their problem because they just don't bring in as much money as NBA players.
And I wish they would market for them better, but even with that, it's like we're still not going to get
exactly
the way they play. You know what I'm saying? It's just not going to work out the same way.
Just not the same excitement you would see as Russell Westbrook, clear lane, running down off the backboard.
A floater doesn't do the same things as a dunk for the fans. I think it's just the same thing. Like, I wouldn't care. Like, obviously, I'd be like, hell yeah, that was a nice floater, my guy.
And one thing they could start with, I don't want to, because we're sitting here on boxing, but one thing I do want to say for WNBA players, you know, there's no WNBA player with a signature shoe. I remember, like, one of my best friends, like, she wore Kobe's, KD's, stuff like that, but they ain't got no Elena Delle Donnes. They ain't got, you know what I'm saying? They ain't got no signature shoes for them, and I think that's part of the business too. And I wish at least one WNBA player could get some kind of Candace Parker, Maya Moore, all the Elena Delle Donnes.
Times are changing. I think eventually it'll happen. But, you know, just right now, I don't think it'll happen. There's a time and place for everything, and eventually it'll happen.
Now, I think NBA players are marketing big for them as it is. Like Kobe said just about him. Isaiah Thomas played with them in practice. I mean, there's just players, like, they want them. It's just there's nothing they can do about it.
Now, do you see, because boxing is kind of that's the cliche where the money is. Do you see more UFC fighters wanting to get into boxing, or do you think that will be a part of the future?
I don't think, like, people do say boxing is where the money is, but
I find
what they gotta realize is you're not getting that money unless you're fighting like top fighters.
Alvarez, you know, Ryan Garcia.
You're not gonna fight. You're not gonna get probably $1 million plus payday unless you're fighting Ryan Garcia or Canelo Alvarez,
Terrence Crawford, you know, people like
Terrence Crawford, Fury, Wilder, Joshua.
It's got to be a big fight.
And it got to be another. You got to have the counter. You got to have the opponent to
exactly 100%
give you that paycheck too.
Yeah.
So, is there anything that we didn't? Any questions? Anybody got any questions?
I don't know. I think we
covered it all.
Covered everything.
The Wilder fight, yeah.
Time for plugs. We got Twitter. Just a Casuals Insight. We are on Twitter. Go follow us on Twitter. Any Q&A that you have, if there's any questions that you have for us or any debates, because we've done, this is like 19 episodes now. Yeah, we have a lot of stuff. We got into some debates about things, and we've had things that are debatable. You know what I'm saying? So if there's any questions that you have, or that anybody has, for a matter of fact, you go ahead and hit us up. Don't be disrespectful about it, though. We get disrespectful back.
I got it all day. I got time.
Instagram, we are on Instagram now, and I gotta start posting more on Instagram because my shit is dry than a motherfucker. But we will get on there. We are also on Anchor, which is where we do our podcast at. We love Anchor. Spotify, go check us out on Spotify. And last but not least, we are on YouTube. Subscribe to us. If you love the channel, show support. You don't have to donate anything to us.
We've done a lot of ups recently. I mean, we changed profile picture, we changed the name, we started putting more thumbnails and pictures during the videos.
Yeah,
we're putting the work.
Shit getting official around here. Shit getting real official around here. We're gonna have more guests on the show. I don't know if we're gonna have a guest on for the next show, but we will start having more guests on the show.
You'll find out when you listen. So
you know what I'm saying? And it's been great doing this podcast with you, legit, man. Catching up with you, it's been absolutely amazing, bro. Like you had a lot of great stuff to say, and I know the fans.
Conversation for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%. Just with the NBA and boxing in general. We've been able to get a lot of conversation off. So check us out on any one of those platforms, preferably YouTube, because we're trying to make some money in the future.
You have anything you want to plug? Your Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat?
I don't pay attention.
I get you. I get 100%, man. I don't really be.
I just gotta give you the option.
I'll be
100% with you, bro.
Had a fun time on this.
I wouldn't be on social media if it weren't for this podcast. I swear to God, because that's the only reason I'd be on that ass.
I'm really.
The arguments keep me coming back.
I just stay on there for the news. That's where I get most of my news from.
So just the Casuals Insight, Jelani Smith. It's been great being with you, Uriel. 100%, man.
It's been a great podcast.
Dakota Mitchell. Check us out for episode 20. We'll see you guys later.
Hit me in the pod. Never mind.